Hello my fellow freedom builders, and welcome to a quick update to this news that I suppose many of you have seen, that Donald Trump has been tested positive with this virus that we all know too well. Now, this is not a political video, so if you hear me say something that you think is some way partisan, it is not meant that way. It should not be a surprise to any of you that I'm not a big fan of Mr. Trump or the way he behaves. But still, I do not wish this illness on anyone. I have two people in my surrounding, in my network, that has died from it. And I have a couple of people right now that are very, very ill with it. So this is not something I wish for anyone. So let's just stick to the financial and stock related here, even though it can seem a bit cynical to talk about that, but that's what we are here for. Now, when the news broke this morning, we saw an instant drop in the US futures. Now, this is on a daily chart. Let's just have a big up here. This is on a daily chart, and let's just go down to something like a 15-minute chart here, and it is obvious when the news broke, the market just went straight down pretty much. And what I'm here to talk about very briefly today, I'll not make a long video about it, is how you should deal with news like this. Because I am pretty much not very concerned about the stock market, at least not due to this being tested positive. I have a feeling that what we see here in the Nasdaq and the Dow futures is an overreaction. If there's something that the markets don't like, it is uncertainty. And when a news like this come out and there are a lot of rumors, and is he very ill or a little ill, or what happens if he dies, and so on and so forth, that makes the market nervous. And a lot of big players, they just say, well, the market is a bit nervous anyway, so I'll just take my money off the table to see what happens now. And this is why we see this drop in price. So the price actually has bounced on the bottom of this regression channel and has been moving up for the last days, and it has been in a bit of a space where it's like it cannot really decide whether it should go up or down. But I think that if no other news come out today, I think the losses will quickly be eaten up by people that say, wow, that was a nice way to get some cheap stocks of the stocks I would buy anyway. So I think the market will just slightly go upwards for the rest of the day. Now, today is non-farm payroll day, and the big unemployment numbers and so on. And that is a reason why the market normally probably would have been moving a bit sideways, a bit silently today. But this news, of course, has been doing a bit to the price here. So do not panic. I have recommended to my subscribers that they do not have their stop losses too close, because they can easily be stopped out like with a movement like this. And there's no reason for being stopped out just by an overreaction. So if you have automated stop losses in, unless of course you're a very short-term trader or day trader, you should always have your stops in. But if you're just a longer-term trader and you have your stop losses pretty near the price, then at least personally, I'm taking my automated stop losses off and just putting them in manually when I see the development in the market when we open today. So I do not suspect that this will really pump the market down. However, there are something that concerns me a bit, and I'll give you that right now that I have you, and that is the oil. Because the oil is usually an okay indicator of how the overall market is doing. Because when the market is doing fine and a lot of economic activity, we see that there is a larger demand for oil. And it has, of course, gone up a lot since these days where the oil futures were trading below zero. You can remember it, I think, back in April here. It has gone up, but it has slowed a lot down. And we have to remember that a lot of at least the gas and oil industry, or the oil industry in United States, they are dependent, the smaller companies especially, on oil prices above 45 to 50. and that is, we are below that now, and the price is dropping. So that can really start to hurt these companies. And overall, I do not think that this movement is signaling this huge V-shaped recovery that we are talking about. So, but that is another story. But I just wanted to mention it, that I'm a lot more concerned about the movement in the oil than I am worried about this movement today due to Trump's illness. So I'll not go much further in depth with the economical part here. Now, then there is the election campaign part of it, and that is, of course, not directly tied to the stock market, but then again, a little bit. And we had the debate the other day, and that was pretty much a mess. I didn't stay up to see it. It was night time here in Denmark, so I did not want to stay up and watch it, because I pretty much knew how it would turn out. However, it turned out a lot worse than I had thought, and that just makes sure that I don't stay up to see the next one. Now, Trump is in quarantine right now, I suppose, and if it is the same rules as in Denmark, he has to be quarantined for 14 days. Now, I was just looking at the next presidential debate, and as far as I can tell, that is October 15th. And since we have October 2nd today, that is 13 days from now. So I'm not really sure what happens to this to this debate if it is postponed. The next one is a week after, on October 22nd. To be honest, I do not feel that it would be a huge loss to humanity or to the US people to simply cancel this one. But yeah, it could be nice if the debate was actually moderated a bit better, and maybe with a kill switch to the microphone, so that if one of the participants should talk too much and interrupt too much, this one could simply just be shut off. Another thing is that Mr. Trump is good with crowds. He knows how to work crowds, so there's no doubt that the next couple of weeks he would be having a lot of appearances and rallies and so on, and he will be stopped in that by now. So he is losing some crucial ground. There is just about a month to the election date on 3rd of November, and he's losing about half of that time if he has to be quarantined, and I suppose he has. So that will be bad for him, in my opinion. That's just a guess. But as far as I can tell, one of his forces is in front of a crowd. It is at live events. He knows how to work a crowd. He knows how to work media and so on. And if he is stuck in the White House without being able to go out and create some emotions live, I am pretty sure that will hurt his campaign. But then again, the campaign and the election and who gets elected, Trump or Biden, is not really something that I think will affect the market. I know that, of course, there is also always a little volatility around the market, but as I have mentioned in an earlier video, there's not really any evidence that the choice of president really moves the market big time. Well, I know it did with Trump. The market went straight up pretty much when he was elected. That was pretty much due to some tax cuts that the companies got, and they spent most of that money going out buying back their own shares, which of course put in some sort of artificial demand on the stock market. But that is quite short term, and we are where we are in an economic cycle. And I'm pretty sure that we cannot really blame any new president for what happens to the stock market. That is at least what I can read out of the statistics, but you might have a second opinion. Anyway, that was all for now. I'll not take any more of your time. My advice to you is sit tight and do not panic. I am pretty sure that the losses in the futures, but also in the European market, will probably see a spike down. But I think people will pretty quickly realize that this is not a big deal. Of course it is for Mr. Trump and his family, but this is not a big deal for the companies you are invested in. If you are invested in a good, solid company, that will be the exact same company today and tomorrow and next week, no matter if Trump gets more ill or if he gets well very quickly. It doesn't change the fact about the market, and this could just rock the boat a bit on the psychological part of the market. So don't panic, don't overtrade, just sit tight and see what happens. All right, take care of yourself and your money out there, and I'll probably make another video today that I had planned, but otherwise, have a nice weekend to all of you. Bye for now.